Well, as part of Mr. Trump's justification for the US operation to capture Mr. Maduro, he has claimed Venezuela had unilaterally seized and stole American oil, American assets and American platforms. Well, for more, I'm joined by energy economist Jorge Leon, who is head of geopolitical analysis at Rystad Energy. Jorge, good to have you on our show tonight. Now, tell us, Donald Trump's claims that Venezuela had stolen American oil. What exactly are the accusations? How could oil have been stolen?
Good evening, Yvonne. Thank you for having me. Yes, indeed, there's a long history here in the Venezuelan oil sector. The sector was nationalized in 1970, and then at the start of the Chavez presidency in year 2000, some assets were expropriated from international oil companies, American oil companies such as ConocoPhillips and Exxon. And those cases are still in arbitration, and international courts are defining the exact claim. And roughly what we know is that there's some claims of around $8 billion for ConocoPhillips and $15 billion for Exxon. Again, those cases are still in the court. So I guess that's what Mr. Trump is referencing to.
Well, the issue appears very complicated. What do experts make of this claim?
Well, I think the important aspect here, I guess, is how does that match into trying to convince those companies back into Venezuela when there is an open arbitration case going at the moment, and claims by President Trump saying that American oil companies will rush back into the country and will pour millions and millions of dollars are still to be seen. What I'm surprised is that after President Trump said that, we haven't really heard from ConocoPhillips, from Exxon, or from Chevron expressing their willingness to go back into the country and invest a lot of money in this country, right?
Well, there is a lot of talk, but how likely is it that Donald Trump's plans for Venezuela's oil will eventuate? Is it as easy as he makes out to be, so simple to take control of Venezuela's oil?
I think this is not going to be simple. This is not going to be easy. And this is going to be very costly. Let's start by saying that roughly, if Venezuelan production, what does it take for Venezuela production to go from 1 million barrels per day to 3 million barrels per day? It will take around 15 years, not before that, 15 years for Venezuela to recover, let's say, the pre-Chavez levels of 3 million barrels per day. And in terms of cost, this will cost around $180 billion. So this is not going to be cheap. And it's not going to be easy, and it's not going to be straightforward, because there's some structural problems in the Venezuelan sector, in the Venezuelan economy, and in the petroleum sector. Chronic underinvestment, shortage of skilled labor, and also let's not forget that we are facing a lower oil price environment right now, particularly this year. So companies are going to be extremely cautious of where they invest their money.
What's the potential, though, Jorge? How much oil does Venezuela have when you compare to countries in the Middle East which have vast oil reserves?
Venezuela is the country with the biggest reserves in the world, around 300 billion barrels. To give you a sense, roughly Saudi Arabia, number 2, is around 270 billion barrels. So definitely Venezuela has vast reserves. And the irony or the dichotomy here is that despite having the biggest reserves in the world, Venezuela only produces less than 1% of global supply.
So then would you say that there could be minimal impact these developments in Venezuela might have on the price of oil going forward?
I think in the short term, price spikes could easily happen because of the instability of the political situation in Venezuela. We don't know who's in charge. We don't know what is going to happen in the next few years. We know that the army could take an active role, and there's a lot of support for Maduro still in the army. So the situation is quite unstable at the moment, and that could spike oil prices. But in the long run, as I said, not before 5 years, if the conditions are met, we could see more barrels coming out of Venezuelan ground, and that would decrease oil prices in the long term. But it's not a matter of a few months or a few years. We're talking really about early 2030 at the earliest.
Jorge Leon, really good to get your thoughts and expertise. Thank you.
Thank you.